A tabletop adventure game. That's what is on the cover of Rangers of Shadowdeep, and I went into it with a certain expectation. I did not get what I was thinking though, but I was pleasantly surprised regardless. Released in 2018 by Joseph McCullough or Miculio or Macaulay Culkin, and that name may sound vaguely familiar, and it's due to him releasing games such as Frostgrave, Stargrave, Oathmark, and Silver Bayonet. Distinctly not TTRPGs. I didn't realize this immediately though, and Rangers of Shadowdeep is no different. Brief lore rundown though. There is the Shadowdeep, an evil nightmare super fog creeping on the land, and the king is sending out words for heroes of all calibers to beat back the darkness. You are not those heroes. You are the Rangers, a small group of warriors tasked with holding the line until the heroes can actually show up and stop all this. Until then, you are the first and last line of defense. At its absolute basics, it's a D20 game with cards. Almost every action you perform is going to have you throw the funny math rock. Target numbers are never excessive, but remember, this is a skirmish game at its core. But let's make a ranger, for the sake of completeness though. With 10 build points, we're going to be assigning these across our ranger's stat line, abilities, and skills. Our ranger stats, things like movement, fight and shoot, and will, covering nearly everything else you can possibly do. You can't spend a ton of your build points on your stats though, but up to 5 of our build points can be used for heroic abilities and spells. Heroic abilities are usually one-off effects, being able to dash, decapitate people, or protect yourself in battle, but may also only be triggered once per battle. Spells allow you to blast a motherfucker with some magic, but can be bought as many times as you wish, but these are burnt during the battle as well. From there, you spend your remaining points on skills for in-field actions, most of which are pretty simple to understand. Ta-da, you made a ranger. But don't forget to kit yourself out in that Numenoran drip to become your very own edgelord in the non-Euclidean corner of the tavern. Oh, and make sure you crew 1 to 5 of your best friends who can make up your war band. Unless you're also an edgelord band of heroes, then you will have Fido. From there, you're going to set up a scenario map, usually on a 2.5 by 2.5 foot board, moving inches across a map to solve a crisis before them, and stab Dark Bad McEvilface in the face. Initiative is broken down into rangers, enemies, unloved companions, and events. Each activated unit has 2 actions, one of which is going to do everything else, and the other is going to be used for hauling ass or a desperate crossbow reloading, because crossbow cucks continue to take L's. But let's do a really basic attack. Our brave ranger is armed with a longsword against big fat fuck of an ogre who wants to use him as an improvised something unfortunate. With our fight of +4, we roll a d20 and score a 14, totaling up to 18, a pretty solid hit. The ogre defends themselves with their +3 fight, scoring 13, so only a 16 in total. We manage to hit. We then reduce his armor from our roll, with it being 12 to determine our final damage of 6. Pretty easy though, but as all melee attacks are technically retaliatory, it's entirely possible to engage in a fight, lose the fight, and then get turned into chunky salsa on your own turn. Shooting follows the same belief without the threat of immediate retaliation. Just don't get ambushed with your bow out or be a crossbow cuck. You can play the game solo as well, with an AI allowing the enemy to move, attack, and make choices based on the situation. But one ranger against an army is a death sentence. The more rangers you bring, the better your odds. But if you're standing alone or with just one friend, you're going to be bringing a lot of companions along with you to fill out your ranks. Most companions follow the same rules as rangers, simply subbing out more impressive feats to fill in the blanks of your abilities. Let's say we are solo with 100 recruitment points. We could bring an archer, a rogue, a barbarian, guardsman, and a dog with us into the field. But if there's only 2 of us, our numbers would drop to only a barbarian and a dog with our drastically reduced numbers, but more rangers. But outside of that, combat is deadly without being horrific, plenty of scenarios. Fill out the rudimentary campaign, good way to improve your abilities, all tied together nicely with an event table with a deck of cards to force players to get creative when things inevitably go terribly, terribly wrong. Is the game good? Yes, it's really good actually. Is it a TTRPG? Not really. Don't go into this thinking you're going to get some hardcore role-playing and talk about saving the world. This is a tabletop adventure game where you play a cut-down skirmish experience and get irrationally mad at Rudolph the Archer for pissing himself when you send him to fist fight a flesh golem. But if you're willing to put in the time in and ready to set aside some time, it's a pleasant experience that serves as a satisfying game for those who want to play within its toy box. Plenty of expansions and fan orcs keep things fresh as well. My name is Notepad and this was Rangers of Shadowdeep. If you like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and many thanks to the Order of the Silver Star for continuing to bankroll these expeditions. Godspeed and good luck. Manly, we ride at dawn.
Hear me now, thou bleak and unbearable world. Thou art base and debauched as can be.